The film begins in a remote rural area where a small family lives peacefully and quietly. At that moment, a man named Carter and his wife were seen sitting on the edge of a field, watching their son play happily on the green grass. During a game, their son suddenly trips and falls, causing Carter's wife to worry and ask her husband to clean the field to make it safer for their child. However, Carter, feeling lazy and reluctant to move, refuses his wife's request and prefers to remain seated. The scene then shifts to a cemetery where an elegant woman, her guard, and a pastor are holding a funeral ceremony, and in another part of the cemetery, a young girl named Isabel, accompanied by her uncle named Roger, is also visiting her parents' graves. After praying for her parents, Isabel starts taking pictures of the funeral ceremony conducted by the other family. Suddenly, in the middle of the pastor's sermon, the pastor is suddenly shot by a hitman who is wearing a mask. His name is Sad. He also shoots the guard and approaches a woman at the scene. Before killing the final victim, Sad removes his mask and explains that Hugh is hired to kill the family. After that, Sad buries all his victims, including the weapon used. However, Sad does not realize that Isabel managed to take pictures of him during his act. Terrified, Isabel quickly leaves the scene and returns to find Roger, who is now looking for her. A few minutes later, while searching for Roger, Isabel sees him already confronted by Sad. She then tries to warn Roger, but it's too late. He was killed by Sad. Sad initially decided not to kill Isabel, but upon noticing the camera she holds, he decides to chase her. A few moments later, Isabel arrives at Carter's house. Upon hearing Isabel screams, Carter quickly opens his door, but as he steps outside is just shot by Sad. Realizing that there is a hitman after Isabel, Carter rushes back inside and prepares a shotgun with 2 shells. When Sad enters the house, Carter immediately shoots him. Both wounded, Carter and Sad remain cautious of each other. Sad then picks up the shotgun shell Carter used and realizes it's a close-range weapon. At the same time, Sad wants to call for help, but notices a disconnected phone and Carter's cell phone left behind. Seeing this, Sad demands that Carter hand over Isabel, who has seen his face, and in return he will let Carter go since he only saw him with the mask on. However, Carter refuses to hand over Isabel. Sad tries to persuade Carter to reconsider his offer, given his situation of being alone and unable to call for help. At that time, Carter instructed Isabel to fetch the first aid kit from the bathroom, and after Isabel brought the kit, Carter immediately asked her to pour alcohol on his wound. Carter then began heating a knife and used on the wound to stop the bleeding. Meanwhile, Sad found alcohol and did the same to treat his own wound. A few moments later, after ending to his wound, Carter asked Isabel to bring some light bulbs and a towel, where Carter broke the bulbs using the towel and spread the glass shards across the stairs. This was to make it difficult for Sad to climb the stairs. Seeing the trap, Sad realized that Carter was not just an ordinary villager. On the other hand, Isabel and Carter finally introduced themselves to each other, where Isabel recounted the events leading to her parents' death in an accident. She also described the incident at the cemetery where Roger was killed and how she managed to capture Sad's face on camera. After hearing Isabel's story, Carter was reminded of a time in his past when he fell asleep while watching his son. Carter then explained that now he only had 1 bullet left and asked for the film in Isabel's camera. He then wrapped the film in plastic and placed it inside a flashlight. Meanwhile, Sad downstairs found some of Carter's boxes. After rummaging through them, he assumed that Carter was planning to move from this city. Sad continued searching the boxes and found a family photo of Carter in a military uniform. Seeing this, Sad revealed that Hugh is also a former soldier and empathized with Carter because he also had a daughter the same age as Isabel, who meant everything to him. This is why Sad has to work as a mercenary to support his daughter. Carter, having finished wrapping the film, instructed Isabel to place it in the toilet tank. After that, Carter tried to persuade Sad to stop this action and return to his daughter, but Sad refused because Isabel had seen his face. At this time, since Carter determined to protect Isabel, Sad threatened to burn down his house to eliminate evidence. However, Carter revealed that he had a secret weapon of film containing Photosoft Sad that he stored the film in a fireproof underwater container, ensuring it would survive even if the house burned down, and if Sad set the house on fire, the police would still find the film incriminating him. Elsewhere, the junior sheriff named Jerry was on patrol, and a few moments later, Jerry found 2 cars abandoned near the cemetery. Meanwhile, to relieve stress, Carter asked Isabel to fetch a beer from the attic. While getting the beer, Isabel found a doll and brought it to Carter. Seeing the doll, Carter was reminded of his son and immediately told Isabel to put the doll back where she found it. On the other hand, Sad, while planning his next move, found a letter belonging to Carter. In the letter, Carter apologized to his wife for his negligence, which led to their son's death. Hearing Sad read the letter aloud, Carter was reminded of his past when his son Sam died after tripping while playing in the field. Sad then tried to persuade Carter once again to hand over Isabel so he could continue lamenting his fate without having to deal with him. But Carter, looking at Isabel, promised he would not surrender her, as he didn't want to repeat his past mistakes. Suddenly, a gunshot rang out. The sound also reached Jerry, who was checking around the cemetery. It turned out Carter and Sad engaged in a psychological battle, discussing who could withstand their injuries longer. Shortly after, the lights began to dim, indicating that the generator in Carter's house was running out of fuel. Therefore, Carter instructed Isabel to leave the house through the window before nightfall, while he tried to distract Sad elsewhere. Jerry, following the sound of the gunshot, arrived in front of Carter's house, where he attempted to contact headquarters but hesitated. Finally, Jerry decided to check the house alone. When Jerry knocked on the door, Sad was ready and shot through the door, critically wounding him. Shortly after, Isabel, trying to escape, encountered Sad. This forced her to turn to Carter. Sad attempted to shoot her, but ran out of ammunition. Isabel saw this and reported it to Carter. Carter used the situation to his advantage by pointing his shotgun at Sad. Carter threatened Sad to leave his house immediately. However, after a few moments without shooting, Sad realized that Carter likely had only one shot left. Therefore, Sad challenged Carter to shoot, while Carter calmly counted down to pressure Sad into leaving. At the final count, Sad turned his gun on Carter, forcing him back inside. This is another gun that he took from Jerry. A few moments later, Sad brought Jerry inside as a hostage and offered Carter a deal to exchange Isabel's life for Jerry's life. Carter immediately refused, prompting Sad to torture Jerry. Sad began smashing Jerry's fingers one by one. As the result, Jerry's screams mentally tormented Carter. After breaking all of Jerry's fingers, Sad gave Carter another chance to hand over Isabel. Despite the mental torture, Carter refused to surrender Isabel. Eventually, Sad killed Jerry and pushed his body towards Carter. After a while, Sad's footsteps fell silent, making Carter and Isabel even more cautious. Carter pretended to surrender Isabel to lure out, but Sad still took no action. Carter then told Isabel to hide in a room while he needs to go downstairs. When Carter reached the lower floor, he found Sad's shoes hanging. He then checked outside and discovered a ladder indicating that Sad had removed his shoes to silently climb upstairs. At the same time, Sad, now on the roof, made noises that led Isabel to believe Carter had returned. As Sad rushed toward Isabel's hiding place, Carter arrived just in time and without hesitation shot him. The shot sent Sad crashing down to the first floor, severely injuring his leg. Despite the pain, Sad remained determined to act. In the midst of his suffering, Sad decided to set the house on fire as a last resort. However, while preparing to execute this plan, an idea suddenly struck him after Sad noticed Carter's phone lying nearby and conceived a new plan that could potentially change the situation. As night fell, Isabel was seen apologizing for dragging Carter into this difficult situation. Meanwhile, Sad was also waiting for someone. Soon after, the person Sad was waiting for arrived, and it turned out to be Carter's wife, Mara. Using Carter's phone, Sad had contacted Mara and lured her to the house. Sad then used Mara as a hostage, demanding to exchange her for Isabel. His enraged Carter even more, but Sad was indifferent to his anger and threatened to harm Mara if he remained stubborn. In the end, Carter decided to give the shotgun to Isabel so she could shoot Sad if he tried to climb the stairs, while Carter himself resolved to save Mara because she was the only family he had left. When Carter confronted Sad, he tried to solve the situation, suggesting that Sad go upstairs to meet Isabel and argue that their conflict should end, since he had never seen Sad's face. However, Sad refused to let it go after what Carter had done to him. Sad then removed his mask and immediately shot Carter in the leg. After that, Sad threatened to kill Carter unless Isabel came to him. Forced by the situation, Isabel descended to meet Sad. Once Isabel was downstairs, Carter prepared his knife. Suddenly the lights flickered, giving Mara a chance to escape from Sad. Seizing the opportunity, Carter attacked Sad with his knife, but Sad fought back, shooting Carter in the stomach. At that moment, Mara tried to get Isabel to leave the house. However, Isabel stayed because she wanted to solve the issue she had caused. She then quickly called 911 for help and then approached Sad, who was weak. With the shotgun in her hands, Isabel intended to finish off Sad. But as she pulled the trigger, she realized that the shotgun was empty because Carter had already used the 2 bullets. Realizing this, Sad pointed his gun at Isabel, ready to attack. However, in that tense moment, Sad suddenly remembered his daughter. The memory of his daughter moved him deeply. Ultimately, he decided to spare Isabel and not shoot. He even died from his severe blood loss, leaving Isabel safe. Isabel rushed to Carter, who was on the verge of death. Isabel thought Carter had died, but to her relief, he had survived. This is how the movie ended. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more daily movie recap.